Hey everyone, Alex here with Off the Cuff Reviews. I am back with some movie content. Let's get into it. So I'm so excited to finally get back into some movie content on my main channel here. I'm trying to hold off a little bit to try to do it with my podcast and kind of get some content out that way for movies, and kind of point you guys in that direction, which, by the way, if you guys want to check that out, definitely check out the link down below. Our website, teamnefarious.com, has everything you guys need. I kind of wanted to go over all of the movies that I watched in the month of June. I have not done a video like this in so long. So without further ado, let's get into it. First movie that I watched in the month of June was Memory, starring Liam Neeson. So Memory stars Liam Neeson, like I said. It was directed by Martin Campbell, and it is about pretty much exactly what you think it's about. It's about Liam Neeson's character losing memory. He's like a special agent kind of thing, and he's like fighting evil, and it's the same nonsense that he's been doing for years now, every single movie. I thought that may have like changed things up, which is why I wanted to watch this one. I was like, you know what? They put out 3 fucking movies this year. Like, I'm talking about Liam Neeson, and they're all the fucking same. I'm like, bro, okay, maybe you could change it up a little bit, but no, obviously not. I didn't even make it through the entire runtime. I gave it a 1 star, and they're lucky I even rated it. Listen, I know movies are not an easy feat to make, especially because I am working on my own right now. But literally, it's like, let me tell you, this is not the move, Liam Neeson. You need to like move away. Just retire, dude. Retire. You're like 80. He's like 70, but still, you're old. Give it up, give it a rest. The next movie that I watched was one of the short films that was in Love, Death, and Robots Season 3, The Very Pulse of the Machine. So this one is about an exploratory mission to a Jovian moon that ends in disaster. This one I gave 4 out of 5. I thought it was really good. I thought pretty much this entire season was incredible. The next one I watched was also Love, Death, and Robots. This one was Mason's Rats, and this sees this colony of rats, and they're like fighting machines. Go watch it, crazy stuff, but I gave this one a 3.5 out of 5. Thought it was good. The next one that Ashley and I checked out was called The Sky, and this is a short film that was directed by Matt Sears, and it's about the world coming to an end. It's kind of like a cosmic horror event, and these girls are taking psychedelics at the same time while it's happening. Pretty interesting concept. I thought that the actual delivery of it lacked a few things that I was hoping for. I gave it a 3 out of 5. Definitely worth a watch. It's only like 15 minutes long, so go check it out. And speaking of things that are not the best things, the next movie that we watched was Unhuman. Yeah. Gave that a 1 out of 5. We actually did make it through the entire runtime of this, but it really missed the mark. It's a zombie movie. It's trying to be edgy, but not really delivering what it needs to do to be edgy. It's everything that they wanted to do with this, that they thought they were doing, they really missed the mark. There's really like no coming back from this. And I think this is a Blumhouse movie. Yeah, Jason Blumhouse, not great. Blumhouse, what are you doing? Huh? The next one we watched was another Love, Death, and Robots short called Swarm. This one is about 2 human scientists that study the secrets of an ancient alien entity, but they soon learn that the horrible price of survival in this hostile universe. So this is a movie that definitely is divided through critics. Like, a lot of people thought that this one lacked a lot of things that they were going for. I personally disagree. I thought this was really good. I like the concept. I thought that they kind of forced some elements in there, and you could probably point those out like as you're going through the runtime of this. But like I said, it is short, so go check it out. None of these Love, Death, and Robots ones are long at all. You can bang these out so quick, so go check it out. Let me know what your thoughts are down below. The next one we watched was Sleepaway Camp 2 Unhappy Campers. And I think the only unhappy campers here are the viewers of this movie. I gave this a half star out of 5. We did end up finishing this though, which is kind of surprising, but this was for Movie Roulette. We do this series on Ashley's channel. You can go check out her channel down below. We do this series where we call it Movie Roulette, where we just go and we pick a number on a random number generator, and we go through our collection, grab that movie that was at that number, and watch it. We unfortunately got Sleepaway Camp 2, and it does not hold up. The joke's not great, very offensive. I can see what they're going for, but they really, 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 truly missed the mark with this one. This is really not great. The next one that we watched was Hatchet 3. And we've been catching up on the Hatchet series. I've seen all of them, including Victor Crowley. Ashley has now seen the first 3. We still have to watch Victor Crowley, but she is liking them. I'm loving them. These aren't like super great movies. The narratives aren't super great. You know, the acting, not super great, but what they lack there, they make up with in like the practical effects, brutality, like the kills, like everything is good about this. Like that's what these movies are made for. These are made for like slasher fans that just want to watch blood and mayhem and not really like care about a story. The same people that are into like the original like Friday the 13th series. You know what I mean? Like just those bare bones slashers that really just like the only thing that is different about Hatchet series compared to like the older slashers is that this one's way more gory. Like these are way more gory. They have way more practical effects, way more blood. But so many throwbacks, really great. Danielle Harris, I love her. Met her like years and years ago. She's really lovely, and she does an amazing job in these movies. The next 2 that we watched were from Love, Death, and Robots. We watched In Vaulted Halls Entombed and Jabaro. The In Vaulted Halls Entombed one I think stars Joe Manganiello. I didn't really like that one as much as the rest. In fact, I didn't like either of these as much as the rest. I gave them both 3 out of 5. The In Vaulted Halls Entombed was very like military heavy and guns and all of those short films in the Love, Death, and Robots series. I'm not a huge fan of. I'm not really a huge fan of these shoot 'em up action-y things, to be honest. I used to be, not so much anymore. The next one we watched was Opera. I give this a 4 out of 5. This is Dario Argento at his peak. Go check it out. This is Giallo, obviously. A young operator is stalked by a deranged fan bent on killing the people associated with her to claim her for himself. This one is very similar to like I Saw the Devil, but except there's like different reasons for I Saw the Devil existing, but this is similar in the aspects of where like lets them watch and then lets them go and tries to keep doing that. There's a lot of eye trauma in this. Check it out. It might make you a little queasy, but I thought the acting held up. Everything about Opera was pretty great. The next one we watched was Dashcam. Rob Savage, man, what are you doing? What are you doing, dude? I gave this a 1 out of 5. This stars some random no-name lady that called herself a comedian, and she does this thing called Band Car, and she does this on YouTube. This is before she was even in this movie, where she live streams in her car and she makes songs out of like things that people say in the chat. Except in real life, you can go look because she does not get many views. So I don't know how Rob Savage like came across her, but he specifically picked her because she's very like right-wing, conservative, anti-liberal, very Trumper, like no, like anti-vax, anti-mask, and like anti-COVID, and he picked her to be the main star of the movie, and he made this entire movie about those things, and it's almost like he's sending a message that he like agrees with this. Like there's no reason to have her in the movie, to make this movie about her for any reason. You don't even need to give this girl a platform at all. It doesn't make any sense to me. I just feel like he completely and utterly missed his idea. Like maybe he thought this idea was good at first, but like probably should have kept it up here. The next one we watched was Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, which I gave a 4 out of 5. Listen, I, as you guys know, am like the biggest Nicolas Cage hater on the planet. You guys know I hate Nicolas Cage. I'm just kidding. I don't hate him. I like some of his movies, to be honest, but I gave this a 4 out of 5, and this one's literally about Nicolas Cage. He's giving his most over-the-top performances in this, it being absolutely wild. I gave it a 4 out of 5 because I just thought this was really fun, and I feel like the directors really did a great job by casting Nicolas Cage. They initially were not even going to cast him in this movie. They were trying to get somebody else to play him, but why would they? When they have Nicolas Cage at their disposal, get him, give him the money. He does garbage movies for low money. Give him any money, he would take it, right? I'm glad that he did, because that was one of the more fun movies that we watched all month. The next one that we watched was Scary Movie 2. This was one that we just threw on in the morning because we just were feeling lazy in bed. It was on Netflix, so we just threw it on. The next one that we watched was called The Midnight Swim, and I think this was one that Ashley brought up specifically because she was really looking forward to this movie. I give it a 2 out of 5. I didn't really connect with this as much as I thought I was going to. It was a little bit too slow for me. Check it out if you want. I believe it's on Shudder, so if you guys have Shudder, go check it out. The next one that we watched was a short film from Shia LaBeouf. He's the director of this. This is called Maniac. I gave it a 4 out of 5, and it follows 2 serial killers who are being followed around by this guy who is like a documentarian, and he's like documenting their killings. Crazy good. I honestly did not think it was going to be as good as it was, because Ashley was like, hey, have you seen this? And I'm like, no. And she was like, let's watch it. And I was pleasantly surprised, to be honest. Really good. The next one we watched was 3 Transitions, which is another short film, and it's literally just a guy playing with a green screen. Next one that we watched was Barbarian Sound Studio by Peter Strickland, which Peter Strickland is coming into he's really making a name for himself with his directing style. He definitely has a certain style, like Paul Thomas Anderson, Wes Anderson, Denis Villeneuve, all these people that like these directors that live at the edge of your tongue and are so like memorable. It's because they have a certain style, and Peter Strickland has that style like honed in so well. And I feel like this was one of his best movies that he's made. We've seen a lot of them so far because Ashley is loving Peter Strickland. So she's been wanting to watch a lot of these. Barbarian Sound Studio, great flick. Go check it out. It's about this guy who's a sound recordist, and he's recording sounds for a Giallo movie, actually. And reality and the movie kind of start blending together. So go check it out. Great movie. Kind of slow, but it's a slow burn. It's meant to feel that way. The next one we watched was The Stepfather. We watched this. This was a rewatch for me, but we watched this. This is the original Stepfather. We watched this during Joe Bob Briggs, The Last Drive-In. We watched this during one of their shows. Great film. Great show, by the way. Definitely recommend. Go watch The Last Drive-In on Shudder. The next one we watched was She 10. I don't know if you guys have heard of She 10, but we had this little like scratch off like movie poster. Literally every movie on there is like a mainstream movie. It's like the most like underrated movies, right? I think that's what it's called. Like underrated horror movies. It has It Follows, Halloween, Let the Right One In, It, Us, like Midsummer or something like that. Like those movies, like the movies that everyone's talking about. But then there's just a random one called She 10. And we were like, what the hell is this? We watched the trailer. We were like, whoa, like this looks weird. Let's check this out. And weird it was. It has some questionable scenes, some scenes that I'm not even sure are legal to be in movies, to be honest, but it has Vincent Cassel in it. This is probably one of my favorite Vincent Cassel's roles he's ever done. It's about a group of young people that leave a disco and bump into a shepherd who is ready to spend his night worshiping Satan. And it's just off the wall bonkers. I gave it a 3 out of 5. I definitely recommend checking out at least once in your life. So go watch that. Very weird. The next 2 movies on this list I'm just going to mention. I am not going to do a review because I want to do a full video on both of these. So the first one is Crimes of the Future, directed by David Cronenberg. The next one was Watcher, directed by Chloe Okuno. I will tell you my thoughts on those in separate videos. The next one we watched was Lost Highway, and I give that a 3.5 out of 5. I thought that the directing style was really good, but it was a little bit too slow for me, and some of the themes I just didn't understand. Sometimes like David Lynch is so crazy that I just, what? Huh? What's going on here? But the next one we watched, which was a movie that we watched during the last drive-in, we caught like one of their older videos on Shudder. This is called The Love Witch. So good, really beautiful, and just they really did such a great job with the set design, the costume design, directing it on film, the lighting, the makeup. Pretty much everything about this was perfection. The story is a little bit long and some of the scenes aren't needed, which is why I gave it a 4 out of 5 instead of a higher score than that. But I mean, this movie overall is good. Like, you cannot complain about it. The next one that we watched was called Men. Also a weird fucking movie. There's a lot of weird movies coming out. But Men it stars Rory Kinnear and Jessie Buckley. It's an A24 movie directed by Alex Garland. It has the same themes as Watcher, where it's kind of giving you a commentary on how men are being like weird to women and how like women have to be kind of cautious. And in my opinion, I felt Watcher did the better job at nailing the story. And I feel like apart from the visual aspect of Men, there wasn't much substance to it. Like, you can tell what they wanted, what they were trying to tell you, but it felt like they were beating you over the fucking head with it. The next one we watched which we're gonna probably be talking about on the podcast. This was called Facing Nolan. A big shout out to Utopia Movies. They sent us the screener for this. Really good documentary. Give it a 3.5 out of 5. It really chronicles the life and the career of Nolan Ryan, who was a famous baseball player. I'm not really into sports docs and sports movies. I mean, it's a sports doc, so if you're into sports docs, check it out. It's not bad. It's a good doc. The next one we watched was Revealer on Shudder. This one, I want to give props to the filmmakers because this is an original concept, and I feel like they did a good job at delivering that original concept. Tensions rise when a stripper and religious protester are trapped together at a peep show booth and must come together to survive the apocalypse. The performances are good, the directing is good, the set design's pretty good, and the costumes are good. I give it a 3 out of 5, but it's only because the storyline was just very predictable and very tropey. Although, even though it is really tropey and predictable, I would probably have given this even a lesser score than I did, but I'm giving it a higher score because it's an original concept. Put their all into it, and I really appreciate that, you know? The next one we watched was Blood and Black Lace, another giallo film. If you guys want like full reviews of these giallo films, by the way, go check out Ashley's channel down below. She's been doing full reviews about these giallo movies that we've been watching. This is called Blood and Black Lace. It's another classic giallo. I thought the directing, it was great. The only problem with this, it's a pretty standard giallo. The only problem that I had with it was that it was a little predictable. In fact, within the first 3 minutes of the movie, me and Ashley had already picked out the killer. I literally was like, that's the killer. And she was like, yep. The next one we watched was called Flux Gourmet, and it's the newest film from Peter Strickland, the one that I mentioned back, who did Barbarian Sound Studio. And if you ever watched In Fabric, he did that one as well. This one is called Flux Gourmet, and I gave it a 3.5 out of 5. Here's my gripe with this movie, though, because I wanted to give it a higher score because it's so original, and he does a really good job at like captivating you and drawing you into the screen and holding your attention. My problem with this is that it doesn't make any sense. It's about nonsense. It's about culinary arts, but he set it up like Barbarian Sound Studio, like they're making a movie and making sound and playing with sounds and stuff. And although I am a sound guy, I admit it, I love sounds. I love listening to sounds and making sounds. I went to school for audio engineering. I love sounds. And I really appreciate and understand where he's coming from, like bringing those elements into these movies. And he does a really good job with the sound design. But it's the fact that it's even in the movie at all. Like, I feel like this was a movie that he didn't need to have an aspect in there. But overall, he did a really good job at captivating us. It was pretty riveting. I gave it a 3.5 out of 5. It's about an art institute devoted to culinary and elementary performance, and that's pretty much the synopsis. And they kind of like, they introduce like horror elements and suspense and sound design, and there's a lot of elements that go together to make this movie work. And I feel like it works. It's just some of the elements I just didn't connect with. I just didn't understand. There you have it. That is everything that I watched in the month of June. I hope you guys liked this video. Let me know if you guys want more of this kind of content. I hope you guys sat through this entire thing and liked it. I will see you guys on the flip side. Stay safe, everyone. And also, by the way, comment down below and let me know what you guys have been watching this month or the last month. Let's talk about it.